I talk to guys about, what sustainable values and traits are in people, discipline, determination, your work ethic, your attitude, all those things you can bring with you every single day. I think the challenge, with what we're dealing with young people today is they all have the ability to self-promote and get gratification from their own self-promotion. When we were young, for me to be on the cover of Sports Illustrated, like my idol, Michael Jordan, was a big deal. So, man, I had to do a lot of good things over the course of an NFL season to get recognition, to be on the cover of a Sports Illustrated. That was unbelievable. Right. I mean, I thought, holy shit, that was unbelievable for me, and I was in my 7th year.
Tom Brady sat down with Stephen A. Smith on Stephen A.'s podcast, and he really gave a compelling perspective on the state of football, both in college and in the NFL. Social media has indeed ruined many things in life, and that goes for sports as well. Brady mentions in this interview how much of an honor it was to be on the cover of Sports Illustrated. It took him 7 years into his career before he made the cover of what was then the biggest sports magazine in the country. 7 years into his career, that's how long it took for him to be on the cover of Sports Illustrated. And he was honored because back then it actually meant something to be recognized. I know firsthand what he means. No, I've never made the cover of Sports Illustrated, but if you ever looked at a Sports Illustrated magazine years ago, there was this small section called Faces in the Crowd. And in the Faces in the Crowd, they would talk about other athletes who did something of note, and they even brought it down to the high school level. Back then, I was doing some things in high school, and I made Faces in the Crowd. So they put my big mug in Sports Illustrated in Faces in the Crowd. They might as well have put it on the cover. That's as far as I was concerned. I was on the cover of Sports Illustrated. I was on Cloud 9, and I was BMOC on campus in high school for as long as I could milk it. Now, anyone with a cell phone and an internet connection can become an overnight sensation. And that's before you've accomplished anything. I'm not one of those back in the day type guys, but I still do maintain that substance and achievement trumps self-promotion. Brady dropped even more nuggets in this interview with Stephen A., so I'm going to let you guys see it. I'm going to react to it.
I talk to guys about, what sustainable values and traits are in people, discipline, determination, your work ethic, your attitude, all those things you can bring with you every single day.
It seems like that has been lost on today's youth. They don't understand determination, and they definitely have a lack of work ethic. Drives me absolutely nuts.
I think the challenge, with what we're dealing with young people today is they all have the ability to self-promote and get gratification from their own self-promotion. When we were young, for me to be on the cover of Sports Illustrated, like my idol, Michael Jordan, was a big deal. So, man, I had to do a lot of good things over the course of an NFL season to get recognition, to be on the cover of a Sports Illustrated. That was unbelievable. Right. I mean, I thought, holy shit, that was unbelievable for me. And I was in my...
You notice what he said there? Basically, he said he had to do a lot. He had to achieve. What he's saying is he had to earn it. You had to earn the right to be on the cover of Sports Illustrated. That's a foreign term that so many in this social media age, they don't understand. You had to earn recognition. You had to earn all kinds of applause. You had to show that you deserved it. Now it's just pick up your cell phone and talk, and that's it.
7th year. Now these young athletes have hundreds of thousands, sometimes over 1 million plus people follow them on their social accounts. And they think that there's something sustainable about that, because you have people paying attention to you. But we used to be paid attention for excellence.
Right. Probably he could have stopped the interview right there. We were paid for excellence. We were paid because we accomplished something. We were paid because our team won. We were paid because we broke records. We were recognized because of all that. Today, nope. Just stick up your cell phone in front of your face and you can just get people to follow you.
Not for making ourselves to get some moment that people could see, us being like a jackass.
Right.
Okay, we're going to pay attention to that because he jumped off a balcony into a pool. Like, okay, yeah, that may get a lot of clicks, but in the end, there's nothing sustainable about your excellence in that. So
today, people have traded clicks for excellence. That's it. He could have put that in a bumper sticker. We've traded clicks for excellence. We don't care about being excellent anymore. We don't care about achieving. We care more about the clicks.
I've always thought, great, if I'm going to deal with people, I want to see them achieve and maximize their potential. They have to do that through discipline, through hard work, through commitment, through teamwork.
Mm-hmm. Commitment. All those other words, great. Commitment. I want to see people commit to something.
And if you do that, there's a great reward. It may not be this instant gratification of you posting something about yourself and everyone liking it. And I think we're in that cycle where people think that because people are paying attention, they're liking something that actually means something. And I think if you want to build something great, that's over a long period of time. You better do the right things. You better be up early and staying late. You better care about your teammates. You better care about your organization, your coaches. You better communicate properly. You better figure out how to relate to your teammates. You better have a work ethic. You better practice the right things and work hard at your recovery and be focused during the season on what your job is. And I think even those things like I said, conveyed to Shedeur in a very short period of time, and I love him to death. But
he's talking about when he was helping coach Shedeur Deion Sanders' son, and he was trying to tell him the same thing. Maybe he should, get away from the flashy wristwatch and all this kind of stuff and actually win. Kid's a good quarterback. He's going to do well even at the next level, but focus on getting better first. Focus on winning. Focus on accomplishments, not the other stuff that you really didn't earn. Your dad's a multimillionaire and you've got some NIL money, but you really haven't won anything yet. In order to get to a Tom Brady type level, he's telling you, put more pride in excellence and commitment in your work ethic instead of, the watch. That's all he's saying here.
I want to do that for everybody because your social media account isn't going to determine how long your career is. Winning football games in the NFL is hard. And there's a lot of...
So right here, he's segueing into another question. He's like, what's wrong with the NFL? And in this probably 30-second to a minute clip here, he talks about what's wrong with the NFL. And I completely agree. And I think many of you will as well.
I think there's a lot of mediocrity in today's NFL. I don't see the excellence that I saw in the past.
Why not? Notice a couple of times he's mentioned excellence. Not just these games that are just being played for the hell of it. Games that don't make any sense. Players that just give up on the field. He's talking about excellence.
And
why not? Why do you think that is?
I think the coaching isn't as good as it was. I don't think the development of young players is as good as it was.
I think that's one of the biggest things. The development of young players, getting them ready for the NFL. I don't think a lot of players in college are ready for the NFL. Caleb Williams, I'm talking to you.
I don't think the schemes are as good as they were. I think the rules have allowed a lot of bad habits to get into the actual performance of the game. Mm-hmm. So I just think the product, in my opinion, is less than what it's been. I think guys are competitive. Guys play hard. I look at a lot of players like Ray Lewis and Rodney Harrison and Ronnie Lott and guys that impacted the game in a certain way. And every hit they would have made would have been a penalty. And
just think about that. Guys like Ray Lewis and Ronnie Lott, they couldn't play in today's game. Forget Jack Tatum. Forget Jack Lambert. Forget Dick Butkus. Forget Mike Singletary. We're talking even contemporary players like Ray Lewis would not be allowed to play in today's NFL. How sad of a statement is that? Roger Goodell, you've ruined the game forever. Ruined it completely. I love the Miami Dolphins, but all this jet motion running around with little guys, that's not football. We have to accept it. We have to just clap for it and applaud and say this is the team we support, but it's not how football was meant to be.
Your coach is complaining about their own player being tackled and not necessarily, why don't they talk to their player about how to protect himself, how to get rid of the ball, how to throw it, how to run out of bounds, how to get down, how to lower your pad level. We used to work on the fundamentals of those things all the time.
And what he's absolutely true there is I didn't need to be taught how to protect myself. You learn the fundamentals of the game. You know how not to put yourself in certain situations. You understand what's going to happen when you're blindsided. God, when you're on the offensive line and somebody's coming at you at a trap block, you're even shown how to get your shoulder down to get ready for that trap block to absorb it or to deflect it. These kids nowadays don't seem to have any idea coming out of college how to deal with some of this stuff because they just don't practice it. Preseason is worthless in the NFL. Nobody's hitting. Most of the players probably skip out a lot of the time with the injuries or personal time or whatever. And then they start the season and it takes 3 or 4 weeks before things get going because they're not in game shape. And then don't talk about all these injuries that have happened this year. And I gotta believe those injuries are a byproduct of not hitting in practice.
Now they're trying to be regulated all the time. I think a lot of the way that the rules have come into play have allowed this. You can essentially play carefree, and then if anyone hits you hard, there's a penalty.
Ooh, now I know a lot of people are going to say when Tom Brady was playing, if you hit Tom Brady, you'd get a flag. But the guy took some blows. He didn't like getting hit any more than any other quarterback did, but he didn't look to overregulate the game. He played the game, and he'd burn you if you missed him. So he knows what he's talking about.
And it's very different than how I played. I didn't throw the ball to certain areas because I was afraid players were going to get knocked out.
Understand what he just said there. And a lot of people talk about certain quarterbacks being one-read quarterbacks and you're just throwing it to a certain area. And we're seeing a lot of wide receivers get hurt is because when you're leading, you got to know. If you watch football, you know. Back then, you didn't throw a ball where Ray Lewis was going to just destroy your wide receiver or your tight end coming across the middle. You had to know where to place the ball.
The only way to beat skill was physicality.
Thank you. The only way to beat skill and speed was physicality. That is still true today. You want to beat speed, you want to beat skill, finesse, you got to be physical. And if the league doesn't allow you to be physical, then what happens? Then the little guys run around scot-free, do whatever they want, do a motion, turn upfield before they get set. No one says anything. You're wide open and you're not able to be physical anymore. Why? Because fans love it. Fans love the idea of more points and more scoring and more yards. All I see on Twitter all day long is X quarterback threw for X yards. X receiver caught this many yards. You don't see a lot of people talking about X running back ran this one. And you never see people talk about X linebacker made 12 tackles, made 10 pressures, forced fumbles. You never see that. All they want to talk about is the glory stats, as I call them.
And that was a physical sport. You don't get into a boxing match and say, I want to beat you, but I don't really want to hit you that hard.
Exactly. You don't get into a ring and have the guy run around the ring and you have to chase him. That's why I love watching MMA. It's two guys or two ladies, mano a mano. I guess the word would be woman against woman. And in that situation, that man is coming at you with the sole intent of knocking your block off. He is not coming at you and expecting you to run around the ring. It is a physical sport, MMA. Football is a physical sport. There's been speedsters throughout the game, but many of those speedsters were absolute beasts. They were physical as well. Herschel Walker, one of the fastest guys on the football field. Tony Dorsett, one of the fastest running backs ever. He'd pound you. If you want to get physical, if you can catch me, want to hit me, I might have to lower my shoulder. Herschel Walker, I might drag your ass. But in any event, the game has changed so much. And I just don't know if it's ever going to recover. Is Brady right? Has the NFL turned soft on us? In the era of jet motion and bodyweight sacks, is the NFL soft and headed for flag football? I'm really interested in hearing your comments. Me, personally, I miss the guys like Dick Butkus, Ray Lewis, Lawrence Taylor. All these guys knew how to hit. Jack Lambert. I could go on and on and on. To me, that was football. I'm not a big fan at all of what seemingly is the barreling forward to bring the NFL into flag football. Don't want to watch it. Don't want to play it. Not interested whatsoever. But that's me. Let me know what you guys think about the NFL going soft and, some of these athletes not accomplishing anything, but using social media to become overnight sensations.